So is this the point where everybody jumps on the bandwagon now? Because, baby, once this gets an anime, I already see that this is going to have a huge fan base. But on top of that, if they're reading this one, 14 chapters in, we got what feels like a Kushina x Minato death all over again with a dark twist. And again, we're only, about 14 chapters. Like, Samurai 8 has a very bright future, baby. Let's talk about it. Whether Facebook, Twitter, or the two, make sure to steer clear, cause I'm coming through like... So this chapter, we get bombshell after bombshell on top of one of the most emotional moment thus far in this series. And honestly, I see Masashi Kishimoto what he's trying to do, because there's so many things that he's setting up for later on down the road, but he's also giving us stuff for now, and he's also just playing with the feels, because, yo, there's not many series that can make you feel like, damn, son, this early on. Make you feel like you know these characters already. Make you feel a certain way about them with what happened at the end of chapter, again, I want to say it's 14, with Furuta, aka the professor, aka Hachimaru's father. But let's start from the beginning. So we got the 7 other brothers to Hachimaru. The main one, I want to say he's an older brother to Hachimaru from what he proclaims, Ikaku, and they start dropping bombshells on Hachimaru, which you could immediately see that this is leading towards something a lot grander, because based on what Ata said, how, because Daruma accused, like, yo, so you're trying to open Pandora's box. They want both boxes, I want to say, but they're trying to open Mandela, I want to say, box. So if they're focusing in on that box alone, I'm imagining there's probably going to be bigger villains, grander villains that are focusing in on both boxes, trying to open both boxes, because there's a lot here to digest. For starters, finding out that Hachimaru was an accident with a tragic past. Like, yo, people were like, okay, obviously, for example, since Naruto, we had Boruto. Boruto, it's hard to sympathize with him because he had a pretty good life, other than the fact that he's sad his father's not around. Not the most tragic in the world. Let's do a rundown. Hachimaru, on top of what we already knew up until this point, very, very sick kid, didn't have much of a life. His father kept him in, finally got to have somewhat of a life, and then, you know, shit really goes bad. It was tragic, right? Then in this chapter, we find out, so he's an accident. He was feeding off of the other 7's energy, but he was an accident that died, basically on the path of this professor, aka Hachimaru's father, trying to create these keys to unlock this box. But he was, again, not supposed to be. Like the other ones, you see they all got black hair. You see that they're all slightly different. Hachimaru was actually raised by the professor, and finding out the darkness of what this character really is, because it's crazy. You just look at it like, imagine a kid that age finding out, so not only did I already have it rough, but I was an accident. I was not meant to be around. In fact, my father isn't even really my father. He just created me alongside a bunch of others, and I was basically like the weakling, you know, the runt of the group. But then on top of all that, his father tried to kill him once so that he could disrupt the balance, because if he would have killed him, then they wouldn't be able to open up the box. They wouldn't be able to do, their plans would have been all thwarted. I'm kind of curious what's different between what he tried to do back then. Maybe he only had 7 at that time or something. I don't know. I want to say he was the 8th one or whatever, but maybe they only had 7 and then he came back to life, or he survived, because we find out that not only did he try to kill him, but then when he couldn't bring himself to do it, then he just grabbed the kid and ran away to another place, and that's where it leads the story into him raising Hachimaru to where we're at right now. Like, even the little baby Hachimaru picture reminded me clearly of Naruto when he was a kid. Clear as day, that's where the design came from, and just seeing it was like, man, just imagine finding all that shit out, and Hachimaru's still a kid. Granted, he balled up, you know what I'm saying? He went up against Ata. He's starting to show signs of he's a real samurai. He's the real deal. He's the real McCoy. But that's dark. Like, people were mad at Kishimoto for not making Boruto a lot darker or having that much of a struggle. This kid has had it bad from day zero. Day zero, baby, because that's rough. That is messed up. And pretty much they need him to die. And again, that's why I'm like, well, what's the difference? Because they need him to die in order to correct the balance so that they can open up that box. So again, I'm imagining maybe that they had all they needed at the time, or they just needed one more, something like that. Now that they already have the 7, he's the 8th, they can get rid of him, and then they'll be able to open up the box. So you can see that Hachimaru's life is very, very pivotal to stopping their plan. Hachimaru dies and he falls off a freaking building and drops dead. It's over. They get to open up the box. So they're going to be coming for his life. And it's kind of like giving me vibes of like the Akatsuki, when it's like they needed Naruto's chakra so bad, which Naruto would have in turn, of course, died if they extracted the QB completely from him. They need him to die in order to be able to get into the box. And then finding out why they want to get into the box. Basically D3aTh and them, which I'm wondering, is D3aTh the highest up in this? Or I'm imagining D3aTh is like probably a lead soldier, not a foot soldier, but probably a lead soldier. I don't think it's just all D3aTh, because this is a big organization. I'm imagining he's like hired muscle. He looks like he's been through the ringer or whatever. But seeing that basically they want to become gods essentially and change the universe and this whole thing back to, or restore it to how it used to be, and kind of just become gods. Like, holy shit. So their goal is to become gods. That's a pretty freaking ambitious goal. And at the end of the day, Hachimaru's life is what stops them from getting there. So his life is going to be in danger as long as this organization is after him, which it's Akatsuki, but with a very, very crazy twist, a very different twist, taking a whole different turn. And it's like, yo, he got 7 brothers that all want to kill him, on top of an organization, on top of his pops seemingly dying. And again, before we get to that tragic moment, I know, we get some world building, even more building, that there's 5 schools. There's the school that I guess Daruma is the head of. There's D3aTh's organization, and then there's 3 more that they're going to go after. So these people, they're ruthless. I'm imagining, unless they're like, because I'm guessing that this is going to be an ongoing thing. This is the main villain, this organization, and D3aTh is just a part of it. There's probably a lot more that are going to try and come and hunt down Hachimaru and everything, but this big organization is going to be the big villain of this entire series, I'm imagining, or the big antagonist. So I'm assuming we're going to see at some given point this organization hunting down the other 3 schools to take them out so that they could completely wipe everything out, and again, open up the box and become gods. And another setup, because Kishimoto, he ain't making the mistake he made last time. I remember in an interview came out and said, I didn't like that I didn't leave behind little things that I could build on later. This one, when D3aTh's like, yo, I'm gonna leave you something, because you're gonna lose everything, Daruma, you're gonna lose everything, but I'm gonna leave you something. We see like some sparkles dripping down that he left behind. I'm kind of curious what that was. Did he leave him like some energy? Did he leave him a threat? Like, again, another big foreshadowing piece that I'm sure will be revealed later on, but you can just see that on top of the big plot twist and the big reveal of Hachimaru's true origin, you know, the professor, who he really is to Hachimaru. He's basically just his creator, not his real father. Although, honestly, the way I look at things, your father is the person that, you know, even if it's a surrogate father, whoever raised you, whoever loved you like that, whoever taught you the way you need to be and everything, that is his father. So it's I guess, semantics on the words and, you know, whatnot. But that is his father, just not biologically, even though they're robots and he kind of recreated himself. And yeah. And it's crazy how selfless, if you think about it, Hachimaru's father really was, because he knew doing this, trying to take D3aTh out and everything, was going to leave him immobilized and he was going to die because his organs disappeared, and they want to, you know, rescue him or whatever, but there's no way to do it because it starts raining and, you know, it's just not going to work. And he knew that. So you can see, stand up fellow. Makes me wonder what led him to that organization to begin with. If their motives were so bad, was he working with them and it was all fine and dandy? He didn't understand the stakes at hand of like, yo, they want to become gods and wipe out the world and change everything. Or like, why would you work with an evil organization like that if their goals is just so messed up and wrong? And also, if he was Daruma's student, what led D3aTh to this group? Like, why are these people joining up for this organization if they're just so freaking bad when they were once good? Like, obviously they had some sort of fall into depravity, or they were tricked. And I mean, even when the professor is like, yo, everything they said is true, you know what I'm saying? Everything they said is true, and I once tried to kill you and all that. Incredible moment. And, you know, we waited, I don't even know, it was like, what, 300-400 chapters to really find out all that stuff in Naruto. Kishimoto's like, yo, in 2019, these kids don't got that attention span to get to that point to find out these big things. Let's do it now. But I'm sure there's still a lot more mystery left to go, because he's just leaving little breadcrumbs here and there. Okay, D3aTh left a little thing as a goodbye to Daruma. We still don't really know all about Daruma's, you know, backstory or whatnot. There's a lot of things that he's leaving behind, but something like that, absolute tragic. I could see that an episode like this is going to be a game changer when the anime comes out. Like, people are going to rock with it. When D3aTh shows up, they're going to really rock with it. When this goes down and Hachimaru's pops, Furuta, the professor, dies, that's when everybody's going to be like, oh my god, Samurai 8, oh my god, this is the real success of the Naruto, screw Boruto, oh my god. And I've been reading a lot of manga with fathers that made mistakes, because I was reading Attack on Titan, and, you know, Grisha, if you're an Attack on Titan fan, you know, he made his mistakes, but him being able to seemingly pass on, the professor saying, you know, at least I get to die an honest man. I got to tell my son the truth. I got to tell you what was going on, what I did, the wrongs I made. It's not going to make up for it. I did try to kill you. I did screw over that whole organization that initially I was helping to create this weapon, basically, to open up this box that God knows what's going to happen. You know, they trying to become gods, but at least I get to die knowing that I told the truth. And it's like, it's very, very bittersweet. The panels where Hachimaru is crying, where, you know, the father says, yo, now you got to do it so that you can be a strong samurai and protect this woman and protect the universe against D3aTh. It's an incredible moment. If they reverse his death, I ain't gonna lie, it's gonna be like, yo, why would you kill this character so soon and then reverse it? I really hope Kishimoto doesn't do that. And he's not notorious for doing things like that. I mean, we had Edo Tensei, but they, you know, they all died again anyway. But like, hopefully this stays as a staple, because this is a huge character developing moment for the main character. His father's death is going to change him completely. Like, I'm imagining he'd still be silly, but all of that rude shit that he was doing early on, not listening to Daruma, not really giving a shit, just, I'm gonna be a samurai, but I'm not gonna do anything righteous or justice or anything of that nature to be a samurai. I think that all dies here along with his father, and even the subtleties of his father saying, it wasn't you that was holding yourself back. It wasn't those circumstances. It was me. Very powerful stuff. And then it ends off with the father saying, go ahead, do that ritual. So I get confused. I'm not gonna lie. There's a lot to digest with this story. What ritual Hachi still needed to do or whatnot, but he's about to do it. So very, very powerful stuff. Best chapter of the whole series thus far. 14 chapters in. And again, like every chapter has been topping it. I don't know what the next arc is going to be able to do. Maybe we'll run into one of the brothers at some given point. You know, of the 7. I don't know if we're going to fight all of them at once. How many people are in this organization. When we're going to see D3aTh next. But I will say right now that this is once again on the path. Like, don't get me wrong, Naruto was hype in the beginning, the Zabuzan Haku arc, but I don't think on this level of writing, plot twists, or none of that did we get that in the beginning of Naruto. Zabuzan Haku, great arc, but did it reveal all of these things about Naruto, or did we take a while to get there? Look at how much we already know about Hachimaru in this short amount of time. Granted, that could be a bad thing, because, okay, well, what's left for down the road? Or is this going to be a short series? Kishimoto said he's going for 50 to 100 chapters, I think. He said about like 10 volumes. Well, it's like, for right now, that's still ways off from where we're at right now. So very curious to see how it's going to go down. Kind of curious what you guys thought about this chapter, though. How did you feel about that ending? Did it impact you? Do you feel as though that's a mini or a better or a darker version of the Minato Kushina death? Don't get me wrong. We had a lot of time to spend with these characters, Naruto and them, to really feel a certain way. I still felt the way 14 chapters in. Granted, maybe not as strong, but it was dark. It was well thought out. It was very tragic and sad. And hopefully this is a very, very pivotal milestone for Hachimaru to develop into becoming a true samurai. There's so much lore in here. Akala, the god of war, so much in this one. But hands down, 9 to a 10 out of 10 for this chapter. This is for a brand new story. Incredible. I just hope that Kishimoto ain't emptying out the bag real quickly and early on, because this is like chapter 50, chapter 100, chapter 400 type of shit that we're getting this early. But it's going to build a fan base. If this doesn't build a fan base with, you know, the manga and the anime comes out and that doesn't build a fan base, then I don't know what people are reading and what they're watching, because this was really good and again shows so much potential for the future of this story, Samurai 8, The Tale of Hachimaru. But that's all I have for this one, though. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, make sure to subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram. Hit that bell and make sure you get all notifications so you don't miss out on a video. And if you want to follow any of my other social media, links in the description below. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day. And remember the golden rule. Anime and manga for life, boy. Have an awesome day. Peace in. Yo, Samurai 8, Tale of Hachimaru, fire! Enjoy the next ride, but I was the best ride.